Let's speak to Jacob Helberg, one of the Hill and Valley Forum co-founders, also Under Secretary of State designate for economic growth, which is a good place to start. So we have an AI action plan. I've printed it out, 23 pages. I've read as much of it as I can. What is the central and core component to you that is most critical?
Well, thank you so much for coming. It's great to be here. I think today with the rollout of the White House AI Action Plan, we're seeing why Michael Kratsios and David Sachs were such stellar picks to be part of this amazing team at the White House. Ultimately, the exciting part about the action plan is that it amounts to shock therapy for American competitiveness in the AI industry. It's investment, it's infrastructure, it's diplomacy. It helps us balance our security objectives with the need to scale our AI industry and remain competitive. It is deregulation. Right. It's massive historic investments in critical infrastructure, especially the energy grid. The total amount of electricity that we have had on the supply side as a country has stagnated since 2008. We need to increase that dramatically if we want to hit all of our goals on reshoring as well as on computing capacity, and so it's very exciting to see this roll out.
In the context of economic growth, there is this heavy emphasis on cutting red tape and deregulation. What is the intention of that, do you think, from this administration?
We can't take 7 years in order to build a power plant. We need to keep a pace. China adds a new power plant every single week, and so deregulation is a central pillar to actually unleash American builders in America. We have some of the very best builders. The action plan ultimately provides a positive view for how builders can actually create jobs in this country, and deregulation allows freeing them to spend more time on building amazing transformative technologies that create jobs and less time on legal fees and navigating the bureaucracy of the federal government.
Jacob, we've come to say the phrase American technology stack quite a lot recently. I'm sure you have as well. A big part of the document seems to be an acknowledgement of exporting the American technology stack broadly. Why is that important to give access to American technology to both friends and foes, economic adversaries?
Well, ultimately, we want America to be the platform on top of the rest of the world builds. There are certain technologies that end up being platform technologies, and where the quality of the technology itself improves, the more user it has. And so it's very important to have a very broad user base as well as a very diverse user base in order to have the most advanced algorithms. And that's why ultimately exporting American technology overseas to expand our market share as well as lock out some of our competitors from key markets is a key part of the strategy.
Jacob, and let's summarize how you feel this administration approaches AI and how much of a priority you feel it is against everything else that's on the president's desk.
So there's been a lot of talk about, and there's a big debate in macroeconomic policy about the impacts of AI. And we've seen over the last few years a huge amount of emphasis placed on safety that really stems from a trepidation of potential negative effects on the labor markets that AI can have as a technology. We're seeing this administration take a drastically different approach with an emphasis, as the Vice President said in his February speech, on AI opportunity. Ultimately, there is a very compelling economic theory called Jevons paradox that says that when a technological breakthrough leads to major efficiencies in a key input of growth, like labor, the effective cost of labor goes down, and the result, the paradox, is that it actually leads to increased demand for labor rather than decreased demand for labor. We're seeing that play out in the energy space. So for example, the lower the energy cost, the more energy people consume. With labor, it's going to be the same thing. The more productive our labor market is, the more people will want labor and hire people, and the more jobs will be created, and that's what this is about.
Jacob Helberg is one of the founders of the Hill and Valley Forum, but also Under Secretary of State designate for economic growth and one of the key contributors here in Washington, D.C.